Let's start off with the outgoings. And let's start off with Dele Alli. As David Ornstein says, Valencia considering a move for Tottenham midfielder Dele Alli. Dan Kilpatrick saying Valencia are said to be considering a loan move for Dele with hope that he could also emerge as a late option for Frank Lampard's Everton or another Premier League club. TalkSport saying Palace and Everton both want to sign Dele Alli from Spurs. Palace want a loan deal and Everton want to buy. So Dele Alli does seem as though he's the most talked about outgoing at the moment. Do you think anything can happen with Dele from now until the end, or will happen?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a transfer. That's what the Times are saying as well. Palace and Everton are both in for him. I'm hoping for a loan deal from for maybe a 6-month loan deal or something. I think it can happen. I think it can happen. He can go. So hopefully a deal can be struck. I think Everton are more likely to pay his wages than Palace are. But Everton have got Donny van den Beek having a medical right now, so whether that puts pay to a transfer for Dele remains to be seen. Or we could do with the added quality of Dele as well as Van den Beek. So we'll have to wait for that. But I think it's one that I'm hoping will happen before the end of the deadline. I think it will.
Yeah, I hope so. It is looking like one of the most likely ones. Another likely one is Giovanni Lo Celso. We brought you the news yesterday that Villarreal are interested. Romano saying today that Villarreal are in the race for Lo Celso loan deal, as revealed on Friday. Emery wants Gio. They've players Villarreal are the players' preference after turning down Lyon. Spurs and Villarreal are discussing details about salary to be covered and more. Spurs open to letting him go. And Marca say that Villarreal's pursuit of Lo Celso will go down to the wire. They've agreed personal terms with the Argentine and will close the deal with Tottenham Hotspur. But the lack of space in their first team squad is posing problems. So it looks as though they might need to get one out before they let Gio in.
Yeah, and let's hope they do that, because I think it's best for everyone at the moment. Apparently, it's gone a bit sour with Gio and Conte and the rest of the team as well. And there's rumours that even he's not very well liked amongst the Tottenham staff, even at Spurs.
Called him a weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about him being a weirdo, but apparently he's rude or something like that, and he's a bit arrogant. So if that's the case, it's best to just split now, and I think he'll do well in Spain. And as again, I've said it before, I'm a big fan of his quality, but we just haven't been able to make it work, unfortunately, with him. So I think it's best that at the moment we just cut our losses,
even without incomings.
I mean, for me personally, I'd like to use him. But if we're not going to use him, then yeah, even without incomings.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Steven Bergwijn now. It's been rumoured that him going to Ajax all transfer window, but that doesn't seem the case anymore. David Ornstein said this morning Ajax are unlikely to sign Bergwijn. Conte is a fan of the Dutchman and wants to keep him. And then Dan Kilpatrick very recently saying that Bergwijn will stay at Tottenham past the January transfer window deadline.
Yeah, he goes on to say Ajax had a £15 million bid rejected earlier this month, but has not given up hope of persuading Tottenham to sell. However, Bergwijn's representatives do not expect him to go anywhere today. Conte has consistently said he wants to keep Bergwijn even before his memorable heroics against Leicester. So that seems to, and that's good. I want Bergwijn to stay. I think if we sold Bergwijn before the deadline, I'd be quite unhappy in terms of our options still. I think if you add Bergwijn into the mix now on our forward line with Kulusevski coming in, now there's a bit of depth and some options there. All of a sudden, it looks fairly healthy, our forward line, as opposed to if you're letting go of Bergwijn and just replacing with Kulusevski, we've still got the same amount, really, as we did before, and it doesn't really help us.
I think the only way it made sense of Bergwijn leaving is if we bought a Ndombele or a Carrasco in. I mean, that's the only way I would have accepted it, to be honest, because otherwise, again, we're just leaving ourselves short for no reason, really.
Yeah, so and especially he's been in decent form as well. So I'm pretty happy with Bergwijn staying. I think it wouldn't have made sense to accept 20 million for him anyway. When his value could probably increase if he has another good few months. So I think it's good news that Bergwijn's staying.
All right, move on. Harvey White. Dan Kilpatrick says that Tottenham are looking for a loan move for Harvey White on deadline day. Obviously, he was at loan at Portsmouth last year. I think he had a fairly successful loan, but he didn't exactly one of their star men or anything, but I just think it was fairly successful. Hopefully he can get a loan move to maybe a level up to Portsmouth, what he was last season.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him when I've seen him in a Tottenham shirt, but again, he's 20 years of age now. Needs to be playing regular first team football if he's going to develop properly. I think these 6 months he's had on the bench, or not even on the bench, he's been on the bench sometimes, he's out of the squad. I think probably hasn't developed him that much. He needs to start playing again. So hopefully he gets a loan move on deadline day.
Yeah, so that is Harvey White, and let's just move on to the last ones that look set to move for sure, and that is Tanguy Ndombele. Romano says that Ndombele is undergoing medical tests in Lyon ahead of his loan move, which includes a buy option. And we've just got from Julian Maynard that
that's interesting.
Ndombele is in Lyon. It's done. Free loan for 6 months with an option to buy of 65 million euros.
If they take that up,
65 million euros.
That would be unbelievable if they take that up.
They were fighting for that option as well.
It was Lyon who were the ones who wanted it put in, apparently.
Which is very interesting.
So I wonder if any of that money is included writing off some of the money we owe them or something.
I guess it would be, yeah.
But if we get 65 million euros for Ndombele, which is what, 50 million pounds, something like that,
around about, yeah,
that's brilliant if they pay that. But I guess that's why they're giving them this. There's no loan fee. I'm guessing that's why they're not giving a loan fee. They're saying, look, we won't charge you for the loan, but after 6 months you want him. This is how much they pay, and they're saying, yeah, that's interesting.
And you know what? They've just got in a big bunk of money from Bruno Guimaraes as well. So
yeah,
it does
40
kind of
million.
make sense.
And also they know how good he is, don't they? Ndombele, so they believe in him. So they're thinking it could be worth it. They're not thinking like other clubs thinking, oh, it's going to be a big risk and we don't know what kind of player we're getting. They know what he can do. They've had him before, and he's still quite young, isn't he? 23, 24. So for Lyon, it would be a great signing. So wow, that could be a great deal if at the end of the season they do stump up that kind of money. It's been a saga that ever since he came, it's been just non-stop problems, hasn't it? Apart from maybe a period under Jose last year where it looked like he was finally getting to grips with what we needed, but then Jose left and Mason didn't pick him, and then Nuno didn't pick him, and now Conte didn't fancy him at all. So it's just been non-stop problems, non-stop Tottenham fans hoping that we could finally see the real Ndombele perform, and it never quite happened for him, unfortunately, which was the most disappointing thing. As much as everyone could see the quality he has. He's got unbelievable ability on the ball, second to very few, I think, in the Premier
Jose
League.
Mourinho, second to none in Europe, he said, didn't he?
I think in central midfield, there's very few players who can rival what he can do on the ball. But unfortunately, if you don't have that mentality to constantly be improving your game and not be a liability off the ball and be like a warrior off the ball and putting a foot in and working as hard as possible, too many times he's caught walking around, trudging around, not doing what he needs to do.
Bypassed.
And also sometimes when he is on the ball, he's so good, but sometimes he's guilty of overcomplicating things as well. When a simple pass out wide or into feet, and he'll just do a dribble and sometimes moves the ball in silly areas. And that unfortunately came to a head later in his Tottenham career. And now we're going to see the back of him, which is a shame considering his quality. And hopefully for himself, he can reach his full potential, but it won't be at Tottenham, I don't think.
Yeah. So that's one that's definitely, very, very likely to go through before the end of the window. And the last one we're going to talk about is Bryan Gil, because we got the Here We Go yesterday from Fabrizio Romano, and he's followed on from that this morning saying Bryan Gil has arrived in Valencia to sign his contract. Deal confirmed and set to be announced this afternoon. Straight loan from Tottenham until June. No options included. It's funny, he didn't mention the further year as an extension, Romano, in this one.
Yeah, apparently it's not. There isn't one.
Oh, there isn't one.
That's what he's saying.
Okay.
So it's only a 6-month loan deal. Apparently we misread the update yesterday. He said no option. I thought he said with an option, and it's no option. So there's no buy option and no further option for a year. So it looks like he'll be back. We'll be back in 6 months. That's good, and that's good. So we reassess things in the summer. If he has a good 6 months over Valencia, maybe we can get him back into the first team and he could be an option again. Although, he will now have Kulusevski to deal with when he gets back.
Yeah, well, Kulusevski is predominantly a right-sided player, but Bryan Gil likes the left a bit more.
It's interesting because since coming to Tottenham, he's been playing on the right, hasn't he? So we'll have to wait and see.
Before he came, he played predominantly on the left, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So depends where Conte wants him, I guess.
All right, but that is as it stands at the moment with the outgoings at Tottenham. Ndombele and Bryan Gil pretty much out the door for at least the remainder of the season. Dele Alli is attracting a bit of interest before the end of the window, so we'll have to see what happens with that one. Potentially Valencia, potentially Crystal Palace, potentially Everton. Obviously, we'll bring you the news as and when anything happens with that one. And Giovanni Lo Celso potentially could be going to Villarreal, but we have to wait for Villarreal to potentially get one out the door if this one's going to happen. Harvey White, we're looking for a loan deal, and Steven Bergwijn looks set to stay at Tottenham beyond the window as well. So that is a state of play with outgoings at the moment. I want to know your thoughts in the comments section, so let me know what your thoughts are on all these potential outgoings at Tottenham Hotspur.